And here I am at the local Lowe's garden supply place, a building and garden place, and to get some more cow manure and organic compost because the local Walmart was out. Believe it or not, it turned out being cheaper here. It's $1.44 at Walmart. This is $1.38. I don't know, it seems fluffier or something here. I'll open up both bags when I get home. We'll compare and see what they look like. But anyway, there's 4 bags here, and then I got 4 more bags in my front there in my back. Huh? What is it? What have you found there in my van? Yo, Babs. So, you two ready to go to the garden? Huh? Well, come on then, let's go. Hey everybody. Okay, today out in the garden we're going to be doing a little bit of rototillering right along where we did our strung our beans. I've already rototillered this once, so I ought to be able to go pretty deep this time. I'll have to go on either side of this. I got to rototiller it again, of course, because I tromped down all the dirt putting the string up. And here is the organic cow manure stuff I bought today, and here's what I bought the other day that they were out of. So I just thought I'd dig into this and sort of see what the difference in consistency is in it. I know the new that I bought is in a much bigger, fluffier bag. They both actually do weigh 40 pounds, but the new is going to be, I think it's got, maybe has some wood chips or something in it. It kind of smelled like it had wood chips. And by the way, for the uninitiated, cow manure that you buy is well rotted type of stuff. It really is nothing much. I mean, if you didn't know any better, you would not. You would just think it's just dirt, basically, because it really, it doesn't smell like manure at all. Yep, I think it does look. You might not be able to tell it much on the camera any differences. Okay, there's what that old bag looks like. And there's the new bag. So let's just take a, see if we can tell. I got out here a little bit later than what I wanted to, but the new bag, I don't know which I like the best. I actually think I like the new bag better. The new bag appears to have some wood chips in with it. Well, regardless, it all just looks like dirt and wood chips. So even though I'm sure it's manure, it you know, when it's well rotted like this, I mean, it just is very much unlike what you'd think of manure. As a matter of fact, you do not want to get fresh manure like out of a barn or something and put straight on your vegetable garden, unless you were doing it in the fall where it would be well rotted by the spring. Okay, we'll go up here and start up our rototiller. But before I start up my rototiller, I'm going to go ahead and spread my manure down through the rows. I use quite a bit. Not sure exactly how many bags I'll use here, but pretty good many.
Just over toward the center.
I actually do like this new a little bit better. I think the wood chips that's in it is going to help fluff up my soil a whole lot better than what the other manure does. Okay, so there is 6 bags of, let me get on the lower side, I think you might be able to see it better. There's 6 bags of organic humus and manure here. And I'll be sort of kicking it under the exact center, rototillering up both sides of it. And then I will, because this board is right here, it doesn't really get rototillered in the center. So I'll be getting a spade and fork and finishing it up with the spade and fork. Otherwise, there's really no good way to do it. You could rototiller it up super good to start with and spade and fork and everything, dig everything in. And if you do that, then you're still going to have to string. And when you string, you're going to chop stuff down. So this is the best you can do with it. Oh, and I did mean to mention too that I will be adding probably about 9 handfuls of fertilizer distributed down through here too. I would call myself a semi-organic gardener. I do use fertilizer. One of these days I hope to get away from it, but for right now I'm using fertilizer still. But I use 0 pesticides. Any bugs that comes on them, I pick them off by hand, squish them by hand. I'll show you some nice bug squishing someday if anybody wants to be grossed out. Mexican bean beetles, they're my worst nemesis. Okay, and this is my rototiller right here. This particular one is it's a rear tine tiller is what they call it, which is much easier to handle than the front tine tillers. Although on my little patch of land here, it's on a little bit of a hill, so that makes it a little bit harder actually. Craftsman 6.5 horsepower, 17 inch cut, I guess you'd call it, 17-inch plow. So take a little walk around of it. Nothing but there's the pines, which look like so, by the way. I don't know how good you'll be able to see it there. I'm going to set the depth of it right now. I've got it set to maximum depth with this little gauge here. To put it in the top hole, that would be the minimum depth. So okay, let's crank this puppy up. Alright, one thing I like to do, well, put my earplugs in. I always put earplugs in. These are not the best earplugs. They make a different type that's a little bit better than these. And if I start talking loud, it's because I've got earplugs in and I can't really tell how loud I talk, which sometimes I talk pretty loud anyway. But what I like to do before I even try to actually start it, I go ahead and pull several times on it so it just won't start instantly. You know, it's liable to be sitting for a couple of months and the pistons or whatever be dry. So I like to get everything all loosened up, lubricated a little bit, let's say. Put the pistons up and down. Now I'll turn my gas on here and I'll turn this switch on. I'll put it on full choke for just an instant after it starts. Well, it's pretty warm, so I just immediately take it off of the choke. Now I'll be going down there and plowing some stuff up, I guess. Not to walk through here. Keep in mind right at this second I'm doing it one-handed. And there's plenty of clods there yet to be busted up. Okay, I just finished going down through there and spading everything. And as you can see, tell it better from below, there's a whole lot of clods here that I have manufactured. So in times past, what I've done is just go down through there by hand and bust those clods up, but I'm trying to find a little bit better way to do stuff this year. So what I'm going to do, which I've never done and I bet I know it'll work, I'm going to go down through here with a rake and kind of rake all the clods out to each side from the center, and then run my rototiller over them one time on each side, and then I'm going to rake the declotted clods back into the center. On paper it works great. Of course, most of the clods are on the upper side, but it's okay. I'm going to get the lower side too. Okay, just a little sneak preview. There's what it'll look like. A row of clods, a row of clods, and kind of a trench type of deal. I'm going to rototiller to smush out of these clods when I get them all done, and then rake it on back in, and all of it will be nice and loose. And then I'll plant. Okay, am I sweating enough? Am I dirty enough? You gotta be dirty if you're a gardener. Anyway, as you can see, this is what it now looks like since I've gone on either side of it. You got, let's say, 95% of the clods out, and there's a little trench in the center, much too deep to plant beans. It's probably, oh heck, it's a good 6 inches deep overall. May not look like it here, but trust me, it's about that deep. So I'll be raking dirt back into the center right now. And here's one thing that's rather cool. I don't have to walk on both sides to rake stuff back into the center. Most stuff's on the upper side, so I just pull it from there and then push it from there. Time or two, or push and pull, whichever way works. That makes me happy. It takes so little to make me happy. Okay, that in fact did work out rather well. I'm totally pleased with that. How about you? How about that interview? Babs, are you happy? Were you happy with that? Say yes. Shake your head yes. Okay, she licked. That's good enough. But as you can see, pretty much all the clods, 90% of them are gone out. So it's time to plant. And it's time not to be walking where I've just done all that. The ground here just clots, just unbelievably bad. No matter how much stuff I put out on this ground, it always clots. Alright, I shall be planting seeds that produce. Mountain, I don't know if you can see it or not. Mountaineer half runner. It says bush bean, but in a way that's a name only. I consider it a pole bean as far as how it runs up the strings. Bush beans generally you don't string, but I don't know if it's the climate or if all mountain half runners are like this. But these beans will produce runners that will go all the way out the top and then another 4 foot and just hang over the sides if they do halfway good at all. So if you don't string them, you've got just a big sprawling mess on the ground. Alright, there's a couple of methods to do this. Some people dig a little bitty trench and then cover it up. Sometimes I do that, but this time I'm just going to put right in the very center, because that's where my strings are, one seed every 1 or 2 inches and poke it down with my finger, half to 3/4 of an inch, I guess. And I mean, that seems like a lot of seed, but I will be thinning when they come up. If you don't plant them this thick, believe me, you'll have sections that do not come up. You'll have a lot of bare spots. As it is, even doing this, you wind up with a few bare spots. But whoa, I'm talking and not watching my viewfinder. Anyway, I put them 1 inch apart because if you don't, you wind up with a lot of bare spots. and you don't want a lot of bare spots. I will thin them later on when I get healthy vines. Some of them will die and I won't have to thin, but yeah, 1 inch apart for the time being. Here, I haven't been around much today. We're going to have an attack. I haven't been around much today because I've been rototillering. There they go. Okay, actually the planting of the seeds is the easiest thing in the garden, really. The soil preparation is what is so doggone hard. And actually, I mean, these are like probably 1.5 inches apart, I guess, which is, they could go for sure 2 inches apart, but I tend to go to extremes on everything. I seem to have this genetic predisposition. If you've watched any of my videos, I think you realize by now I've got a little bit of a predisposition to go to extremes on stuff. So if I'm planting a garden, that's really no different. So anyhow, this is pretty much just it for the rest of this little deal right here. Okay, and here is one of the more important things in this area. As I say, I have lots of problems with clotting. I have just a large amount of grass clippings, really from one end of these tomato cages here. Let's take a close-up of the tomato. It's actually grown a little in the last couple of days. But anyway, from one end here all the way to the other, spread out real wide where they'll stay dry, I've got a lot of grass clippings. And what you got to do, or what I do, is distribute these grass clippings really thinly over where I just planted, and that keeps the ground from crusting over. If I don't do this, the ground will just totally crust over. I mean, you would not believe how bad. It'll crust over, the water will just sort of run off of it. It'll be so crusty. And I have to, but mainly the plants, it'll be so hard packed on top that the plants will not even hardly come up through it. So it just takes just a very, very thin layer of grass clippings here to prevent that. You don't want them too thick or it'll be, you know, block the sun too much and the plants won't come through. But you can put a, you know, a fair little sprinkling, just sort of like that. You can see the ground through it, but just a fairly liberal sprinkling of grass clippings, and it just absolutely does wonders. It really, really does. I don't know how people garden without grass clippings. I can't. So I'll just, you know, finish that up. You can sort of imagine that. So that finishes us up here today. In case anybody's wondering, it's about, I guess it's about 10 minutes till 9 right now. So yeah, I can plant, fool around in the garden fairly late here till maybe about 9:15 right now. Well, maybe not quite that long. Maybe about 5 minutes after 9 before I lose the light. But I prefer to get out here late of the evening. It's just so hot during the day. Bye, everybody. Okay, it's getting pretty dark here now. You may not be able to tell too much about it anyway, but this is my finished result here. If I get down at this angle, I don't know. I can't tell. Can't tell a whole lot. Maybe shining down through there. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit better. But that's the finished result of the green bean planting. And don't ask me how long that took. It's good exercise. That's what you got to do. Just keep telling yourself it's good exercise. Right, Carly? This is my sometimes an antisocial cat. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to get you on film, Carly. She liked it better when I was playing with the strings yesterday. Didn't you, girl? Huh? Yeah. Oh, you gonna roll over for me this time? Huh? Yeah? Hey, little girl. What's you doing? Goodness. You're a good cat. People on YouTube don't even know you exist. I keep telling them I got a cat named Carly, and they keep talking about Susie and Babs. They never talk about Carly. No, Carly don't get no publicity at all. Carly's such a gorgeous cat. She's such a stuck-up, gorgeous cat. Yes, she is. She certainly is. Goodness gracious. You like the garden, don't you? Bye, Carly. And bye, everybody else. Oh, and by the way, I don't know how good you can see me in this light or not, but if I'm a little short on my putting out videos other than garden videos, even garden videos, and making comments, it's because I am out here doing the little extra stuff. I'm just a little busier in the summertime than I am in wintertime, and now that this is, you know, I really do love the creative videos that I do. But sometimes you gotta give the creative juices a little bit of rest and relaxation, a little time to regroup and think of the next new thing. So that's kind of partly what I'm doing here. These garden videos I don't think really are cutting down that much on my normal stuff. It's just that sometimes you just gotta regroup. Okay, bye everybody. You guys ready? Come on, come on. What about you? You staying out? I can't even see you out there. Come on. Nope, staying out. Okay. You coming? Garden's over for the evening.